This is an idea that's been studied a number of years, and we have used consultants. We have studied it as a committee for a long time, and we've really got two different big important pieces coming together at the same time. The first is the Department of Corrections' need to replace aging and facilities in Draper that don't really meet their needs. And then we also have this opportunity to redevelop the ground in Draper at some point down the road, but who knows when that'll actually occur. And it's kind of interesting. You know, back in the late 1930s, we had a state prison that was located in Sugar House. And at the time, the city had grown up around that location, and the decision was to move that facility 22 miles south, and we did that. We moved that to Draper. We've grown up around that spot down there now. But can you imagine today having a prison in Sugar House with 4,000 inmates? You can clearly see that, you know, 80 years ago it was the right decision to move the prison, and we believe it's the right decision to move it again today. So we expect that over the next 20 years we'll need to add 3,000 beds to the Department of Corrections system. We could add those in Draper if we needed to, but we also have about $250 million of repairs and replacement that need to occur in Draper over the next 10 or so years. And that's really the question we are facing right now, is do we invest that $250 million in Draper, or do we invest that money somewhere else in a better location so we could free up the site in Draper to create jobs? And the private sector has told us over and over again, companies like Adobe and eBay have said, bring other high-tech companies into this part of the state. We'd love to have them here. Well, we can't because we've got a prison sitting right smack dab in the middle of that space.
There is a fear that one particular developer is going to make a lot of money on this real estate. How do you sort of protect against the assorted interests that are out there?
So I've heard the concern about a developer coming in and making money, and what I would say is a number of things. One is we have hardly looked at that part of it yet in terms of how to sell off the ground, when to sell off the ground. We definitely haven't looked at who to sell the ground off to. There's no preconceived notions as to when that'll happen. And right now, we are staying focused on getting a new prison built so we can reduce recidivism, we can reduce the cost to the taxpayer of what it costs to have people in prison, and when they come out of prison, we can get people coming out of prison that have the tools they need to stay out. But in terms of what happens with the ground in Draper, we'll deal with that in a number of years. And we'll make sure that that's done in a very open and competitive process. And whether we sell the ground to one developer or many developers is yet to be determined. We'll have this committee, in some form or fashion, will get to work. And the dialogue will change from, are we moving the prison, to how and when. And my suspicion is that when the time comes, we'll move the prison out of Draper over a number of years into a location that is going to be a place we can stay for another 100 years or so.